It was a warm August evening in 2013. 19-year-old Bryce Laspisa, a college student at Sierra College, seemed to be living a normal life. Art-loving, outgoing, and full of laughter. But that summer, something began to shift. His friends noticed he wasn't sleeping, his eyes were tired, and his once bright personality began to fade. He had started using Adderall to stay awake, drinking more than usual, and sending strange, disconnected messages. That night, Bryce went to see his girlfriend, Kim. They sat in her living room, where she begged him not to drive. She said something felt wrong, that he wasn't himself. Bryce, calm but emotionless, told her, "I need to go. I have things I need to do." He gave her one last look, a look that she would replay in her mind for years to come. Then, without another word, he walked to his car, started the engine, and drove away into the night. No one knew it yet, but that drive would lead to one of the strangest disappearances in modern history. The story of a young man who vanished into thin air, leaving behind a trail of confusion, heartbreak, and unanswered questions. After leaving Kim's house, Bryce started driving south. A journey that should have taken just a few hours. But something wasn't right. Instead of heading straight home, he stopped again and again, parking his car for hours at random gas stations and truck stops. Security cameras captured him just sitting there, staring out the window, motionless. At 1 a.m., he called his mother. His voice was calm, strangely emotionless. He said he was fine and on his way home. But when she checked his phone location hours later, he hadn't moved. He was still sitting in the same spot. When a worried mechanic checked on him the next morning, Bryce smiled faintly and said he was just gathering his thoughts. He stayed there for over 9 hours, doing nothing. No one knows why. Was he exhausted, afraid, lost? Or was he struggling with something inside his mind that no one could see? His mother pleaded, "Bryce, please come home." He said, "Don't worry, I'll see you soon. I have a lot to talk to you about." Then, he hung up. That was one of the last times she ever heard his voice. The next morning, August 30th, 2013. Authorities were called to a remote dirt road near Castaic Lake. There, they found Bryce's car, a 2003 Toyota Highlander, overturned at the bottom of a steep embankment. The windows were shattered, the airbags deployed, and yet there was no sign of Bryce. Inside the car were his phone, wallet, laptop, and clothes, all untouched. The back window appeared to have been broken from the inside, suggesting Bryce might have escaped. But where did he go? No blood, no footprints, no drag marks, just silence and dust in the morning air. Investigators traced tire marks leading to the cliff's edge. Bryce had apparently driven straight off intentionally. But if it was an attempt to end his life, how could he have simply walked away unharmed? Did someone find him and help him disappear? Or did he vanish into that wild, empty landscape, leaving no trace of who he was or where he went? Within hours, search teams flooded the area. Helicopters circled the lake. Divers combed through the deep green waters. Bloodhounds followed his scent from the car, but it abruptly stopped just a few hundred feet away, as if Bryce had disappeared into thin air. For days, the search continued. Flyers, media coverage, desperate social media posts. His parents, Karen and Michael, drove hundreds of miles, setting up camp near the crash site, refusing to leave until they had answers. But every day ended the same way. No Bryce, no clue, no closure. Then came strange reports. A few people claimed they saw a red-haired young man walking along remote highways, barefoot, confused, talking to himself. Others reported sightings at rest areas and truck stops. Each lead gave hope, and each one ended in heartbreak. Every search party returned empty-handed. The silence grew unbearable. His mother's voice broke as she said on national television, "Bryce, if you can hear this, please come home." Years have passed, and the disappearance of Bryce Laspisa still haunts everyone who followed his story. His friends, his parents, even strangers online, all still ask the same question. Where did he go? There are countless theories. Some say Bryce had a psychotic break, that the combination of stress, Adderall, and sleep deprivation caused him to lose touch with reality. Others believe he walked away on purpose, faking his death to start a new life. But darker ideas exist too. That someone intercepted him, that foul play was involved, or that he met with a tragic accident deep in the woods. Every year, new podcasts, documentaries, and online sleuths return to his story, trying to piece together the final hours before that crash. But the evidence never adds up. A car found wrecked, a young man gone without a trace, no remains, no sightings, no proof, just pain, hope, and the mystery of a soul that vanished on an open road. Even today, Bryce's mother keeps the same phone number, waiting for a call that might never come. And as the years pass, one question still echoes across California's highways. Did Bryce Laspisa truly disappear? Or is he still out there somewhere, lost between memory and mystery? Days turned into weeks. The dirt roads around Castaic Lake grew quieter, the media trucks rolled away, and the search crews packed up. But the people who lived nearby couldn't forget. They remembered the helicopters, the police dogs, the lights in the night sky. And they remembered that feeling, the chill of knowing that somewhere out there, a young man had simply vanished. Local hikers began avoiding the area. Some said they felt watched. Others claimed to have heard strange noises in the woods, footsteps, faint cries, whispers carried by the wind. Police dismissed it all as imagination. But for those who had been there during the search, it never felt finished. Bryce's parents stayed behind for months, walking the same trails every morning. His mother would call out his name into the canyons, her voice echoing back to her. No answer, just the sound of her own heartbreak bouncing off stone. Sometimes she left notes under rocks or at tree trunks, hoping maybe, just maybe, he'd find one. But none were ever taken. The town had moved on. But for the Laspisa family, time had stopped in August 2013. Their son was gone, and the silence was the loudest thing they'd ever heard. Months after the disappearance, investigators revisited the crash site, desperate to find something they had missed. The car was towed and examined again. What they discovered only deepened the mystery. There were no fingerprints other than Bryce's, no blood, no sign of injury. The seatbelt was unbuckled, the keys still in the ignition. The back window had been smashed outward, almost like Bryce had crawled out in a panic. His phone, found in the center console, had one strange clue. The last ping from the cell tower placed him just a short walk away from where the car was found. But then nothing. It was as if he had stepped off the grid, vanished from every form of detection. Search dogs traced his scent leading toward a nearby truck stop, but it suddenly stopped near a highway, right where security footage conveniently had a blind spot. Some investigators think he may have caught a ride with someone. Others believe he wandered into the rugged wilderness and succumbed to the elements. But the strangest part? In the car's onboard system, time-stamped data showed that Bryce turned his car around multiple times before the final crash, like he couldn't decide whether to go over the edge or turn back. It wasn't a clean act of desperation. It was hesitation, confusion, fear, and that haunting indecision still defines the case today. As years passed, the mystery of Bryce Laspisa found a second life online. Reddit threads, YouTube documentaries, podcasts, everyone had a theory. Internet sleuths combed over police reports, GPS coordinates, satellite maps. People claimed to have cracked the case, but every explanation only led to more questions. Some believed Bryce had suffered from transient global amnesia, a rare condition that causes sudden memory loss, suggesting he could be alive somewhere, not remembering who he is. Others speculated about foul play, a stranger picking him up after the crash, a hidden crime never uncovered. Then came a disturbing discovery. A man matching Bryce's description was reportedly living homeless in Oregon years later. He had red hair, a similar build, and spoke very little. When shown a photo, Bryce's parents said the resemblance was uncanny. Detectives investigated, but the man vanished again before he could be identified. Online investigators became obsessed. Some even traveled to Castaic Lake, live streaming night searches, trying to find Bryce for clicks. It became part investigation, part spectacle. But beneath the noise was still a real mother and father, quietly waiting, quietly breaking. Every new lead reopened the wound that never healed. Bryce's parents have never stopped searching. Even now, more than a decade later, they keep the same number, the same house, the same voicemail greeting, just in case Bryce ever tries to reach them. His mother still posts every year on his birthday. "We love you, we miss you, we'll never stop looking." It's a message to a son who might never read it, but one she refuses to stop writing. Sometimes she dreams that he's still out there, walking through small towns, maybe working odd jobs, not remembering his name but still alive. Other nights, she wakes up shaking, haunted by the thought that she'll never know what happened. The pain of not knowing is its own kind of torture. No grave to visit, no final goodbye, no closure. Just the endless question of where did he go? And every year, when the anniversary comes, strangers light candles online. They post his face again, the same smiling photo from when he was 19. The same smile that now feels frozen in time. Innocent, distant, unreachable. 10 years later, the case of Bryce Laspisa remains one of the most haunting missing person mysteries in America. A perfect storm of confusion, emotion, and tragedy. His story has become a symbol, a reminder that even in the age of technology, people can still simply disappear. No one knows if Bryce is alive, if he died that night, or if he chose to walk away from everything. But what makes this story different is how personal it feels. Because Bryce wasn't a criminal or a runaway or someone hiding from justice. He was just a kid, a young man caught between youth and adulthood, struggling silently until one night he drove into darkness and never came back. Some say he's gone forever. Others believe he's still out there, lost, wandering, waiting to be found. But in the end, maybe the truth doesn't lie in what happened after the crash, but in what led up to it. The quiet suffering no one saw, the messages that didn't make sense, the pain behind the smile. And so, every time the wind moves across Castaic Lake, it feels like the world whispering his name. Bryce Laspisa, a name that time refuses to forget.